When we look at some important events in our lives, for example, if you want to marry, if you want to buy a house, if you want to make an investment, if you want to join a new job, or if you want to take any important decision which can make or mar our life, which can give a new trajectory to our life and may even decide the new course of our lives, then it is important that we look deeply into whether this is the right decision for me and whether it is the right time for me. Because if you take a decision at the wrong time, then it could in fact give you contrary results than good results. That is the reason why it is also often said that during Sadesati, especially if the Sadesati is over important houses, then one should not try to take a decision regarding those houses, or one should delve deeply into looking at what areas may be getting affected before we take a decision. So how do we make our decisions if at all we want to know whether it is the right decision? For example, when we do horoscope matching, we may know whether the person may be a right person for us or not. But how do we know whether it could be the right time for us or not, or if we are being misled into a decision which may in the long term not serve us? For that, one thing that we surely see and what the zodiac makes possible is through the Dasha and Antardasha period. If the Dasha and the Antardasha is not supporting a decision, then to a large extent, however hard we may try, that decision may not come about. And if the Dasha and Antardasha is giving a possibility, it is the transit which decides and activates certain results, because of which a decision may be taken forward. So it's the transits which may be called as a delivery boy of certain results which the Dasha Antardasha is making possible. So how do we know whether a decision in a certain time period, which could also be during a certain important transit, is the right decision or not? For that, it's important when we take a decision, we look at over those houses, over those areas, what are the important transits which are happening. For example, if you want to get married and everything is coming out right, the Dasha is right, the Antardasha is right, and there are important transits which are happening over the 4th house and the 7th house as well, especially of Saturn and Jupiter. However, if we ignore, there may be a transit of either a Rahu or a Ketu or any other malefic planet, say for example Mars, then we may not be taking the right decision at the opportune time, and in fact may be bringing about a negative results in the long term. So let's jump into and see, because right now 4 transits have taken place. Rahu and Ketu have moved into Aries and into Libra respectively. Jupiter has moved into Pisces, and Saturn for a short period of time has moved into Aquarius and then is going to retrograde back into Capricorn till next year January. It is important for us to know over which houses these planets are transiting, and they are activating some areas, and because they are activating those areas, it may be high chance that we may be taking decisions regarding important events in our lives, and we may be sometimes taking wrong decisions. These are not only important over which houses these planets are transiting, which is of course important. For example, Ketu is transiting over Libra, which means Ketu is either activating your Libra sign for you to let go of a relationship which is not serving you, or creating a possibility of a new relationship, a new journey, a new union also coming about. So it is also about the placement of certain planets in your birth horoscope, and over them some transits are happening. For example, if Rahu is transiting over your natal Saturn, if Saturn is placed in your Aries sign and now Rahu is transiting over it, what are the results you are getting? If in your natal chart, in your birth chart, if Venus is placed in Libra sign, now Ketu is transiting over it, what are the new possibilities, new opportunities being created for you, and whether some decision may go right or wrong, or is the time opportune for a certain decision which you are not making. So let's jump into and see whether certain decisions can come about for us, which may be right for us, which may also serve us, or some decision may go south because we are not paying attention to the transits going over the natal placement of a planet in a birth chart. For example, in your birth horoscope, if you have Rahu going over Jupiter, which means Rahu is transiting over your birth placement of Jupiter in whichever house it may be. Right now we know Rahu is transiting over Aries. Some of you may have Jupiter or other planets in Aries. But in general, not only about this transit, but in general, whenever Rahu moves over the natal placement of Jupiter, it activates certain areas of the horoscope which the houses which Jupiter rules, the house which Jupiter is placed in, and the Karaka of which Jupiter is significator of, which means the area Jupiter signifies apart from the houses it rules. Jupiter is the significator of relationship, especially for women. Jupiter is the significator of education. So when Rahu goes over Jupiter, there is a high chance that Rahu may mislead you into taking a decision either about your education, applying for education, or even a relationship where women are concerned. I have seen, especially when Rahu goes over Jupiter, many times women may misled in not taking a decision at an opportune time. Rahu misleads them into saying this is not the right Jupiter for you, and because of being misled, women don't take decisions. On the other hand, women may also take decisions about the wrong Jupiter. So you are misled in deciding for right, and you may be misled in going for a wrong one. So it's important that you do a deep dive into understanding the person well, especially if during a certain transit, especially Rahu going over Jupiter, if you're deciding or not deciding or doing a negative decision against somebody, you deep dive and understand your placements well before you take a decision. On the other hand, if Rahu is going over natal Mars in your horoscope, this may be the time for arguments, problems, issues, challenges, and Rahu is igniting those areas, because of which there may be unnecessary arguments, unnecessary fights in your relationship, at work, wherever Mars is placed in your horoscope, whichever houses Mars rules. Rahu may be giving you either misled directions to go and fight in that direction, or create a false goal in that direction, and because of which you get into arguments and fights. Rahu increases the argumentative, the fighting capability of Mars, and may be misleading you into taking wrong decisions. If Rahu is transiting over natal Mercury, then this period may be the period where you make wrong inferences. Your communication may be misled. You may sometimes be misled that this decision is right, your inferences are right, or sometimes you may even be misled by somebody else fudging data, giving you the wrong data, or you being misled that you may get away with fudging data. So this is an important time for you if Rahu is going over your natal Mercury in whichever period of your life. And if Rahu is going over Sun, then this is a time of misplaced sense of pride. You seeking authority or wanting authority, thinking this is the right time for me, I haven't got authority, I have not got the designation so far, I have not got the power and influence for so many years I have worked, I want that authority now, I want that corner office now. So Rahu misleads you into fighting for authority, fighting for power, fighting for influence, fighting for false pride, rather than being humble, and it pushes you to take decisions which in the long run may not serve you. Rahu, if it's transiting over Saturn, then it may get you to take wrong professional decision. You may feel that it gives a sense of false stability for you, or false propriety for you, or you feel I have not enjoyed the growth so far, I have worked so hard. So because Rahu is going over Saturn, so it instigates that you look at the stability in your work, or if your work, the hard work that you have put in, has it served you well or not, and then to take decisions where it may be misled being taken into taking decisions which may go contrary to your career, contrary to your work, contrary to authority figures. It may instigate you, rub you off to fight with authority figures, with supervisors, with managers, saying I want this, otherwise I'll quit. And here it may be a turning point for your career. Ketu, on the other hand, may want to cut you off. If Ketu is going over Saturn, then Ketu may instigate you, this job is not serving me. Why should I continue to do this job? I don't even have a sense of stability here. So you feel procrastinated, you don't feel like working, you feel as if the energy is sucked out of you, or you feel a false sense of nothing can happen to me, nothing can go wrong, and you may lay down your cards, or you may lay down your horses. You may not work as hard as before. Ketu may take away all the energy, give you a false sense of stability, and then sometimes in certain circumstances Ketu cuts you off from the job, where either you are asked to go or you feel I will resign and find another one. This job is not serving me. So Ketu is such a decision maker, where it may give you sudden decision making, because of which within a few months you realize this is the wrong decision I took. If Ketu is getting over or transiting over your natal placement of Venus, wherever Venus is placed in your horoscope, if Ketu is transiting over that, then what you feel? You feel that I need to get into a right relation. This is not a right relationship for me. This is not a person who is serving me right. So Ketu gives you a sense of not being served in the relationship and wants to cut you off. So either Ketu creates situations because of which you get cut off from your Venus, or Ketu creates another Venus from you, because of which you have the sense of letting go of one, joining some other one, and sometimes both don't happen to you. You let go of one hoping that another one may come by. It may not happen, especially in the current transit. The Ketu is transiting over Libra. It may give you a sense of false pride, so be careful before you get into a relationship, or when you're okaying a relationship, unless you're absolutely sure of your Dasha and Antardasha period, and whether your natal placement of planets is also supporting the decision that you take, especially concerned with relationship, especially concerned with finances, especially concerned with quality of life, especially concerned with also investments. Then if Saturn is transiting over Mars, then you are left in this confused state. Should I go ahead with this decision or not? Saturn wants to pull you down. Saturn says, no, I am stable enough. Why should I change the job now? But Saturn is going over Mars, so Mars is getting activated as well. Mars says, no, this is a good job, this is a good opportunity, you need to go for it, you've been waiting for it, this is what will give you the right goals. Saturn says, no, hang on, don't rush, no need to rush. If you rush, you may take wrong decisions. So in this plethora of should I go ahead, not go ahead, so because of this confused state of mind, many times you leave the time, or you lose the time, and you either don't take the decision or you take the decision in a hurry. So when Saturn goes over Mars, it gives you this confused state of wanting to act, but at the same time holding back, even procrastinating. On the other hand, if Jupiter is transiting over some planets, Jupiter may give you hope, may give you optimism. If Jupiter is well placed, then it may control the Earth not to take wrong decisions. But Jupiter also gives you optimism, also gives you high positivity. So sometimes you may be led into being very highly positive about a certain decision. However, if there are debilitated planets or malefic planets placed in a house, Jupiter goes over them, then beware that it may give you a false sense of optimism, enlarging the sense that everything may be right, and it may be right in the time period at that moment, because Jupiter is allowing the decision to be made and controlling the results. But the moment Jupiter transits over that house within a year, then you understand, at that point of time I thought everything was right, now I realize it was not. So be careful when Jupiter is transiting over some houses. If it is transiting over benefic planets, benefic houses, good well-placed planets, then Jupiter can give you good results. However, if Jupiter is transiting over doshas, over malefic planets, it may give you false sense of optimism and mislead you into taking decisions. Many of you are deciding, especially because Jupiter is transiting over Pisces, that this is a good period for me, a certain decision should be made. However, if Jupiter is going over, say for example, debilitated Mercury that you have, because Mercury gets debilitated in Pisces sign, then see which houses Mercury rules, because Jupiter may give you a false sense of optimism, allow you to take decisions, analytical decisions led by data, but Mercury is not well placed, which may give you false sense of wrong analysis, and you may take a decision because of optimism. So Jupiter is a planet which gives you the optimism, but can also be a very tricky planet, especially when transiting over malefic planets, doshas, and over the dusthanas. If Mars is transiting over Venus, then you get this strong urge for intimacy. I truly love that girl, I love that boy, I want that person, I want that dude. So what do? Because there is an outward attraction, there is not enough energy within your planet to be able to deep dive and to stabilize and to think with a cool sense of reasoning. Is this the right person for me? Is this the right time for me? Should I spend more time? Mars gives you this hurried goal getting, want to go and get it. But what happens, Mars has this energy, explosive energy, where you get into something and very quickly you lose the attraction for that, or you lose the focus in that relationship, you lose focus in that investment. Especially if Mars is going over Venus, because the transit may be very short, 30 days to 45 days. Then during that period you may get this false sense of this is the right decision for me, I don't want to think too much, and you go ahead and take the decision. Only within 2-3 months you lose all your focus here, all your interest there, and then you feel maybe this was not the right decision for me, maybe I need to think of something else. Then what do you do? Especially if you have made important decisions, for example proposing to somebody when Mars is going over Venus, or going for an investment, or living it up, going and buying that expensive luxury car. Then what do you do? Then when planets move over their own natal placements, if the natal placement is good, then the planet will add strength to take decisions. For example, Venus going over Venus in Libra, very good placement for you to go ahead with decision making. The relationships are concerned, investments are concerned, establishing a domestic life is concerned, starting a new romantic relationship is concerned. So far so good. But if Venus is transiting over debilitated Venus, combusted Venus, Venus in a bad dosha, or Venus is moving over Saturn and Moon, which is the Vish dosha, or Venus is moving over Saturn and Rahu, which is the Shrapit dosha, then it may give you a false sense that everything is right, finances are right, the person is right for me, and the attraction may be false attraction. If Saturn and Rahu is what Venus is transiting over, false sense that this is right, and it may become a curse in the long run, because Saturn and Rahu together is a Shrapit dosha. Venus going over a Vish dosha, Saturn and Moon, then what it may do, it may give you a false sense this relationship is right, this investment is right, this romance is right, this person is right, but in the long run it may become vish or poisonous relationship for you. And last but not the least, Moon's transit over planets is for a very short duration of time, few days. However, planets transition of other planets over Moon, it can be a very tricky affair, because it may give you a false sense of emotionally everything is right, emotionally something may be wrong also. So Rahu goes over Moon, it may mislead you into wrong emotions. Mercury goes over Moon, it may mislead you that your analysis is right, your data is right, your inferences is right. Jupiter goes over Moon, you feel very optimistic about a certain emotion, about being supported by the person, about empathy, about understanding of the person. So be very, very sure when you get into a relationship, when you make an investment, when you're going for a deal, when you're closing off a deal, when you are going away from a relationship, breaking away from a relationship, pay attention not only to your Dasha and Antardasha, but also transits of planets over your natal planets. Wherever planets are placed in your birth chart and other planets are transiting over them, this can be a make or mark placement for you, make or mark time for you. Please don't hurry into any decision making. Take your time when you take a decision, especially long term. And many a times I've seen people take wrong decisions, allow the good time to pass, and then later on realize I let go of an opportunity. So friends, deep dive, understand before you take decision making or do a decision making. Transits are also important, Dasha Antardasha is also important, but transits over natal planets is one of the most important things, critical things most of us miss when we make very important decisions in our life. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Till some other time, some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.